My name is Ari. I'm the Vice President here at Root. I'm also the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you some insight as to what our first conversation is going to look like. So step one is I want to get a really clear sense of what you're looking for and are we best positioned to help? Quite simply, I want to make sure that you're not just looking for someone to check in with once a year and only talk about investments. It's not what we do, and we're very transparent about that. We do holistic financial planning. So some people reach out and they only want investments. So they're saying, hey, just tell me what mutual fund to buy. I don't want any tax guidance or estate planning or what withdrawal strategy I should use. And I say, hey, we're probably not the best fit for you because we do holistic financial planning. So number one is, are you a good fit for Root? And are we a good fit for what you're looking for? We want you over the moon about the work that we do, not just, I think I should do this, but I'm not so sure. So that's number one. I'm going to be asking you some questions to get a clear sense. Number two is I'm going to go over our process. I'm going to show you how we actually implement this with clients, and I'm actually going to do it in today's video. I'll also doing it during our call. So don't worry if in today's video you don't have a chance to watch the remainder. But if you do, of course, we'll be more helpful and make the most of our time together. Then finally, number three, almost think of me like a financial matchmaker. I'm going to ask you some questions to get a clear sense about your unique planning needs to determine which advisor here at Root would be best suited to help. Some of you want to work with a female advisor, or you say, I want someone with a similar religious affiliation, or I just want someone on the East Coast or on the same time zone. Every single person has a different preference, and it's my job to matchmake, in a sense, to make sure that you are meeting with the advisor that makes most sense for what you're looking for. All of our advisors are amazing, but I want to make sure that we do find the right fit for you. So that's what it looks like on our call. I want to really get a clear sense of what you're looking for. I absolutely want to make sure that you understand our process and how we help clients do everything we talk about in our podcasts and videos. Then finally, I want to make sure that you do have that right fit. Now, with that being said, I'm going to hop in and show you a few fun pieces that I'm also going to go over during our conversation, but I want to make sure that you can see these ahead of time if you just can't wait to get started. So watch this. You can probably imagine one of the most commonly asked questions is, why should I hire Root versus any other financial firm? Is it worth the hassle to move from my current advisor? What am I going to get with your services? What does it look like? So I'm going to answer those for you right now. We put together this comparison sheet. I'm going to go over this right now in more detail, and I'm also going to make this larger for you so that you can certainly see this. So I'll be zooming in and out right now. Trust me, I know it might be a little small on your screen. So step one here is some people are reaching out, they don't have an advisor at all. Now, I'll say that's fairly rare, maybe 20 to 30% of the time. The remainder of the time, majority of the time, 70 to 80%, people are reaching out and they have an advisor, but there's something missing. And so a lot of people, they have a robo-advisor. So the robo-advisor, you're going to see, they're going to maybe do some rebalancing here. I'll zoom in and make this a little easier for you. Maybe they'll do some rebalancing, some tax loss harvesting. You can see here in the upper right. But more often than not, that's about it. Then maybe your traditional advisor today, and I could be wrong about this, but they're doing some harvesting, they're doing rebalancing, they're talking to you once a year. Maybe they're giving you some custom recommendations. Maybe they're even helping out with assets at a 401k that they're not even managing. But more often than not, that's about where it ends. And so people are reaching out to us because they want a whole lot more services. They're looking for the tax efficient placement of assets, which is, hey, of the assets we own, how much should be in Roth versus pre-tax versus brokerage account and so on. The forward-looking tax planning, we're actually doing this for our clients. So we are doing the Roth conversion work. We are doing the subsidy work. We are calculating your withholdings. We are doing all the tax work. And we're just telling your tax preparer, here's what we need you to report. Because a lot of people come to me and they'll say, all right, I want to work with the firm, but I want to make sure that I'm not going to get the same answer. I'll say, what do you mean? And they'll say, well, right now I go to my financial advisor and they just say, talk to my CPA. And I'm not looking to just refer that out. I want someone who does everything in-house. So right now we don't have tax prep services. That is something we're going to be adding on in the future. Right now we're interviewing a few different services before we bring them on, a few different firms, should I say. But right now we do all the forward-looking tax planning. So we do all of the Roth conversion analysis, the subsidy, everything I just went over tax planning wise, we do it. We just tell, hey, tax preparer, here's what I want you to fill in for John and Jane as an example. So you don't have to hope that you memorize everything we say perfectly and relay it to them. We actually help with this. Purpose. This is a big aspect here. So the next one is, if your financial plan looks great, it's got a line going up, but your life has a line going down because you're not spending what you want to spend, or you're not spending time doing what you want to do, there's a problem here. So we actually spend a lot of time going over our purpose finder. It's a big aspect of what we do. Tons of guidance out there on 401ks and Roth IRAs, a whole lot less. And what are you going to do for fulfillment in retirement? Insurance needs. We're not selling you anything. I couldn't sell you something if I wanted to. We are all fiduciaries, but we are absolutely making sure that you have the right coverage in place. We call it bulletproof planning. So we want to make sure you have an umbrella policy if you need one. You have the right life insurance. You make sure you have every other aspect of insurance. We just want to make sure that you're paying the lowest possible cost and you're looking at every different provider. Because I don't sell insurance, I do that on purpose. I want to understand how much you need, and we do that calculation for you. And then we say, hey, go find insurance. We're going to, of course, help you find it. We'll say, these three providers, which one do you want? Which policy do you like here? And you say this one or that one. Say, great, let's talk about that. And that's what that conversation looks like. Estate planning. I'll ask someone, hey, what's your estate plan? They go, yeah, I've got a trust and a will. I go, that's not an estate plan. They go, I thought it was. I go, what's your plan to not die with $10 million? What's your plan to effectively give to children while you're still here? What are all the actual estate planning tools that we need? Yeah, we need a trust. We need a will, depending on your state. We need to make sure that you absolutely have medical directives and power of attorneys. That's no additional cost. So for some people coming to me, they have a child with special needs. We might be bringing in an attorney because there's special circumstances. If you have multiple businesses, rental properties, we might need to bring in an attorney, but more often than not, 99% of the time, through our software, we are helping you get your estate planning set up at no additional cost. So all of this, my goal is that you are going to be paying less than you are paying right now with your current advisor, but getting a whole lot more in services. A proactive and engaged private client relationship, what does that mean? I think anyone could kind of just put this here because it sounds good. I'll zoom in because it sounds really good. Proactive and engaged private client relationship. But the truth is, the reason we are different is we limit the number of advisors that work with clients. So most firms, there might be 150 to 250 clients for every single advisor. We cap that at 100. And the reason for it is because we want to do holistic planning. We want to talk to you about income and investments and tax and estate and withdrawal strategy. We want to talk about all of this with you. Now, the truth is these big firms, they can get away with it because they have a lot of clients that are just, maybe it's not as individualized of a service. We want to make sure that you are getting holistic planning. So yeah, we do have a private client relationship. There's another joke in the industry that I'll bring up, and it's called Who's Lewis? And people go, what on earth are you saying? I go, well, there's this joke that you meet your advisor, you really like them, and they're a nice guy, and you're getting along well. And then all of a sudden, Lewis is in your Zoom meeting. You're like, who's Lewis? And the premise is you don't want to get passed off from advisor to advisor right when you build a nice relationship. So we want to make sure that we're working with you the next 20, 30 plus years and you love your advisor. So here at Root, you don't have to worry about, are you going to get passed off to the next advisor? That does not happen. A dynamic withdrawal strategy. Where on earth are you going to pull income from? Which account? How much can you pull? What about when markets change? What about your tax strategy? All of this is included. But the number one reason is we want you to have total confidence in your financial future. So we want to make sure that you have a strategy that tells you that you can sleep at night and you do not have to worry. Your wife's going to be taken care of. Your husband's going to be taken care of. Your partner's going to be taken care of. Your children. We want to make sure you have total confidence. So this is what it looks like. This is the difference of what it looks like to work with Root. So that's a little comparison chart that we put together to show what's the difference. Why Root versus any other financial firm? And we try to make it, as helpful as possible. That's how we do all the content we do, so that before you even reach out, you are really excited. Now, there are more resources I want to certainly go over, but I want to make sure that we're saving the real juicy stuff for our call so that I can answer all of your questions at the same time. I find it's most helpful to do it that way. Our fee structure is on our website. I've sent it in advance of today's call as well. If you need that, feel free to shoot me an email and I will send that to you. We're very transparent. My parents were burned by multiple financial advisors, so I love talking about fees. And my goal is to keep fees extremely low while giving you tremendous value. And if we can't justify the fee, then we say, hey, please don't hire us, which is why we don't work with everyone. Now, advisors don't like when I say this, but I say, I don't think everyone needs an advisor. People go, what do you mean? Isn't that like what you do? I go, yeah, for people it makes sense for. Some people, they love tax law. They love legislation. This is what they want to do in retirement. I say, we're probably not the best firm for you, to be honest, because you love doing this and maybe we could do it better. Maybe we couldn't. But if you love doing it anyway, don't hire someone to do it. It doesn't make sense to. Other people go, no, I really want to delegate this. I don't want to worry about this in retirement. I want to go do what I want to do and make sure it's all taken care of. So the two most common phrases I hear are, I don't know what I don't know, or I know enough to be dangerous. And so some people are reaching out like, hey, I've kind of done this myself for a long time. I feel like I could keep doing it. You could. The truth is, people are not reaching out to us and we're not saving the ship from sinking. Okay, that's not what we do. We are here to optimize. We want to make sure that ship is sailing as smoothly as humanly possible. And that's why we love what we do. So people are hiring us to, yes, increase their financial picture, because if not, we would not be in business. But mainly, they are hiring us for peace of mind. They want to make sure that every aspect of their financial life is taken care of. They're not going to run out of money. You're not going to have to go back to work. You're not going to pay more in tax than you need to, and you're going to sleep well the whole time. And that's our premise. Is our conversations are really diving into you, what matters most to you. And if your finances aren't reflecting that, then there's a problem there. That's what we want to do. So we love getting to do what we do, which is get you the most life out of your money, not the other way around. I'll joke with clients, and a lot of you know this joke if you listen to the podcast, but one client came to me. They said, Ari, I'm a new client of yours, and I think I'm going to be one of your best. I said, why is that? They said, well, I have a really low withdrawal rate, which means I don't have to take a lot of money out of my portfolio, and I have about $5 million. So I'm in a really good spot. I said, yeah, financially you are, but you'll be one of my worst clients. And they said, what do you mean? I thought that was good. A low withdrawal rate. I said, if you want to have a really low withdrawal rate, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to have any fun. I don't want you to travel. I don't want you to enjoy your retirement. I want you to go back to work for 20 more years. Your plan is going to look amazing. But of course, that's not the goal of why we're doing this. The goal of why we're doing this is I want you to know as early as humanly possible when you can retire and how much you can spend without running the risk of running out of money. So the goal here is not to have the lowest withdrawal rate. It's not to say how little can I take from my portfolio. Say how much can I take and how good of a life can I live, and will I still be okay if markets do this or if my tax strategy looks like this. So that's what planning with us looks like. I am going to spend the next few minutes or so sharing one more document with you just so you can see what our process looks like in more detail. I think it will be helpful. And then I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys very soon. So let me show you guys this last thing right here. So this is our summary page of what it looks like to work with Root. Is step one, we have a conversation. Does it make sense for us to work with one another? This is where I'm going to be asking you questions, going over that same agenda I mentioned at the beginning, which is get a clear sense of what you're looking for, show you our process, which I'm showing you right now. And then number three, make sure I really learn about you so I can determine which advisor here at Root would be the best fit for you. This is step one. If you say, this is amazing, it's what we're looking for, we can't wait to become a client, I say, awesome. This is where we send our advisory agreement. And this is the next step, is we send you this agreement, but nothing actually changes. You don't open any new accounts, no assets move, nothing transfers. And we do that on purpose because we don't want, if you're working with an advisor, for us to send some documents, then all of a sudden your advisor gets a notice of stuff moving around and they ask you, hey, what's going on here? And you have to have an uncomfortable conversation. In fact, we have a video that breaks down exactly how to break up with an advisor, because this is a very common concern for a lot of clients that reach out to us. But this is where you sign an agreement. That's just a commitment to us at Root that you are serious about moving forward. At that point, you are now meeting your lead advisor for the kickoff call. Once again, no accounts are actually moving. You are now diving into the real fun of what do you want to do in retirement? What does age look like in terms of life expectancy and health consequences, and really getting a clear sense of your early financial plan so that we can start to do our fun work, which you're going to see in a second. So the kickoff call is where we start. We take a big step back and we really learn more about you, to where you really understand, is this an advisor I cannot wait to meet with every time we chat? And if you're like, I think I should do this, but I don't know, it's kind of boring, I say, hey, we're not the right fit. Like, we want you over the moon about our financial planning, not just boring Ari or boring JT or boring James talking about planning again. Now, Ari, myself, James, we don't take on any new clients. We are building this firm out to make sure that you have the best experience possible. And no matter who you work with, Carly, Chris, JT, any of our advisors, you are getting the same exact experience, the same exact service. I just want to make sure we find the right fit for you. So that's my goal, is I'm that financial matchmaker. Then from there, we have that kickoff call. We really understand more of what you're looking for, what's most important to you. Now we get to start to optimize. So we start crunching our numbers and say, let's start meeting and doing some real planning work. So going over the investments, the taxes, the insurance, the estate planning. We are doing these meetings with you. We are building the framework of your plan. And then on an ongoing basis, 3 times per year, the spring, the fall, and the summer, we are reaching out saying, hey, John, Jane, it is time for your review meeting. Would you please meet with us? And if you're busy at that time, say, great, let's push it back a month or two. But we do want to meet with you. So some people, it's, hey, I'm just trying to hire an advisor and talk to them once a year. I don't want to do a whole lot of investments and tax and estate and all that fancy stuff you talk about on the podcast. I just want you to take care of it and never talk to me. That's really not how we work with clients. So we do, of course, not overwhelm you. I promise you that. We keep things very simple, but I want to make sure that you are absolutely taking every aspect of your financial plan and optimizing it. So this is what that process looks like, just from a surface level. So hopefully this is helpful. The next step is to have that conversation. So that's what we're going to do next. If you have any questions about this, of course, please feel free, reply to this email directly. It is my direct inbox. I will reply directly to you. So you're not getting some robot or assistant. I'm the one reaching out. I do this first conversation with every single person that reaches out because I want to make sure that you have an amazing Root experience. Please, before this video concludes, if you're watching this right now, go look at our Root Financial Google reviews, look at our Yelp reviews, see what clients say about working with us, just so that you have total confidence of what we do and why it's different. We don't work with everyone. We work with a very limited number of clients where we can add tremendous value. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.